What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your daily news report for February 1st, 2023. Yes, we finally made it to February 1st. Now, today we are going to talk about a bunch of things. First, we're going to talk about the January ADP jobs report, what was addressed there, where we're seeing some growth, where we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. I want to address what's going on as far as wages, and also which kinds of companies are seeing the growth versus those that are losing employees. This is extremely important to understand because this will impact every single one of us. So we will address that first. We're also going to talk about a little bit of the power outages going on in Texas, where there's currently more than 250,000 people without power. I also want to address the Social Security news regarding the cost of living adjustments, not just for 2023, but for 2024 as well. And just a little heads up, this is not the greatest news. Also, at the end, I want to address President Biden's attempt to prevent junk fees. And one of the big ones that he's really going after is the payments that we have to make if we miss a credit card payment. All right? So I will be addressing all that in today's video, and I will also timestamp this as well. So if you want to go and look at a specific thing, you can go and do that using the bar at the bottom of this video. So let's get right down to it. So first, let's talk about the January ADP report that shows where employment is really at. Last month, we saw private payroll growth slow to 106,000 people. Estimates were at 190,000, so we are definitely off there. The month prior, though, we saw an upward revision of 253,000. So again, it's all coming back. Now, according to the report, it is because of weather that businesses were not hiring because many businesses were closed because of snow, because of rain, because of ice. So they were not hiring. Now, the majority of the growth, though, it came from the hospitality industry. This was bars, restaurants, and even hotels. They added around 95,000 jobs. But the losses came from transportation and utilities, which they saw about 41,000 people, 41,000 jobs lost. Construction was down 24,000, and natural resources and mining was down 3,000. But there's something you need to keep in mind. Wages are still going up. Pay was little changed, but it's still up 7.3% from last year. And that is good news that, yes, we are making a little bit more money, but at the same time, that also puts a little bit of upward pressure on prices. So good news also means it's a little bit of bad news. Now, one of the biggest worries, though, moving into February, and this is something that I've talked about before, is are we seeing the changes from big companies to small companies? In the past, that was an issue, that the smaller companies were performing the exact same way as the larger ones. Well, in this report, it indicates that companies with less than 50 employees really struggled during this period, and they lost about 75,000 employees. Whereas larger companies with 500 or more workers, they added roughly 128,000 jobs. So, big difference there. And speaking of jobs, what we know right now is that Texas is really struggling, especially when workers can't go into work because they have no power. There's more than 250,000 people without power right now in just the state of Texas. We also know because of this winter storm, which is sweeping across the United States, and it's just providing icy conditions everywhere, well, this is causing a lot of disruptions. For example, 1,800 flights have been canceled, 6 people are dead, and there's a lot of people that are just worried about what is going to happen over this day and leading into tomorrow morning. So we're going to see what happens, but as I've said before, make sure you stay safe. If you don't have to go anywhere, try to stay home. Don't drive because, again, cars are getting stuck all over the roadways. But let's address Social Security as well, because there's been a lot of talks about Social Security and Social Security reform this year. And there's actually a very good chance something is going to happen for Social Security and Medicare. However, today I specifically want to address the cost of living adjustment for 2023. Currently, it is 8.7%. We have an 8.7% cost of living adjustment for 2023 that millions of people have already started getting. That's good news because this increase can definitely help pay for certain things. Now, we have addressed this, and I addressed this just the other day as well. Even though you got an 8.7% cost of living adjustment for 2023 for Social Security, well, unfortunately, this will likely mean your SNAP benefits are being reduced. That's what's happening for most people. Now, here's the other problem, and this is where this update really comes in. This cost of living adjustment for 2023 is the largest one we've seen since 1981. Now, normally that's not necessarily a horrible thing, but when we see a spike in the cost of living adjustment followed by economic uncertainty the following year, this means that we are likely going to see the United States headed for a recession. Well, what does that mean for the cost of living adjustment for 2024? Well, here's the unfortunate problem that we're in. Benefit amounts are going to be reduced, okay? Or your cost of living adjustment is going to be reduced. Chances are you're going to have a cost of living adjustment for 2024 of 0%. It will be zero. You will get nothing, okay? So, for whatever your benefit amount is right now, whatever you're getting, this is likely to be the exact same as what it will be in 2024. And for millions of Americans, this is going to be a problem. Now, why do I say this is going to be a problem? Well, the reason why is because of one thing: necessities. Basic necessities are not expected to drop in price. Inflation's going to slow. We're not going to see, 7 or even 6% inflation on, maybe food, but could we see 4%, 5% inflation on food? Yes. Food, utilities, medicine, healthcare, all these are expected to increase in 2023 and in 2024, but your cost of living adjustment will not. Your cost of living adjustment is going to stay at zero, meaning your benefit amount is going to stay exactly where it is. Again, you think 2023 is bad. You think 2023 is tough to live through. Well, experts are now saying 2024 will be worse for people on Social Security unless they get an increase in some way. So, we're going to see what happens, but according to all reports, there's no additional money coming. So, I will keep you updated on that, and I promise as soon as we get more information there, I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But let's also address what President Biden is attempting to do with cracking down on additional junk fees. Because we have heard this before, I've talked about this here on the channel, but President Biden is reportedly going to ask Congress to crack down on more fees, and he's going to ask as early as today. Now, the big fee that he really wants to put a cap on is credit card fees. And he wants to put a cap of just $8 for a missed credit card payment. Now, that's actually pretty good because most credit card companies, they charge between $15 and $35 for each missed payment. And keep in mind, it depends on what your balance is. If you have a low balance, maybe $15. If you have a higher balance, probably $35. So, going from $35 down to $8 would be a significant drop, and that would really help out the American people that are struggling and miss these payments. But this is not their only junk fee that the Biden administration is attempting to fight. Here are 4 others. Let's fight excessive online ticket fees, because the White House has talked about the massive service fees that are added to any cost for an online concert or sporting event. They also want to address airline fees for families with young children, and this is something that I have a 3-year-old, so and I have a 9-year-old as well, so I constantly get hit with these different fees. But Biden wants Congress to ban family seating fees. The fees that parents have to pay when they're trying to get their kids to sit next to them. For example, I don't want my 3-year-old sitting by himself. I don't want my 9-year-old sitting by himself. So because of that, try to group the tickets together and obviously pay a little bit more. He wants to end that one. He also wants to end early TV, phone, and internet termination fees. You've probably seen this before where, yeah, you can cancel anytime, don't worry, but when you go to cancel, sorry, you got to pay an early termination fee. Great, thanks. And then we got resort and destination fees. Biden wants Congress to ban charges added to any hotel visits or online reservations. He wants Congress to require hotels and resorts to include those fees in the advertised cost of the room. So that is what he is attempting to fight, and he will address that most likely today or tomorrow. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.